I'm ExVee, and thank you for joining me in today's FigureReviews.com video review. Today I'll be reviewing the Robot Damashii SP version Arios Gundam and Gun Archer box set. RAC already reviewed the original individual releases of these figures on FigureReviews.com. Since this will basically be a second opinion review, I'll try not to rehash a lot of what RAC has already said on the basics of these figures. I'll begin with Arios. The fighter mode, besides doing a very good impression of an arrowhead, is basically capable. The front half is unusually solid among transforming Gundam figures, since most of the parts lock together pretty effectively. Sadly, the back end does not benefit quite as well. The legs compress and click together, eliminating the problems with the knee joints, but the hips and ankles are still pretty free to move, so it's still easy to screw up the parts alignment. The arms are meant to tab into place as well, so they are stabilized. This helps when you want to have the figure carrying its rifle in this mode. The rifle itself is intended to be held backwards so that the barrel can face forward. Now, a function that may have initially confused some is that half of the rifle's barrel is hinged. But it's pretty clear for this mode why that is. The barrel can pivot for the effect of strafing ground targets, or otherwise aim at places not directly forward of the flight path. The transformation for Arios is pretty quick and simple. It only requires unsnapping a few pieces to get everything freed up to slightly rearrange into mobile suit mode. Zeta Gundam, this is not. In fact, if not for the locking pieces, this would only be a small step above Wing Zero in transformation complexity. Yeah, this kind of tends to happen. The connection between shoulder and upper arm is a simple peg, so it only holds in place by friction. Try to move the arm too much or in the wrong way, and out it pops! Speaking of the arms, a nice detail is the small beam Vulcans housed in the forearms under a sliding cover yeah, that happens too. There's not a strong stop on there, so it'll pretty much just slide right off. Eventually you'll reach the happy balance between open and still attached, and you'll find you have to basically get under the figure to see the little gun barrels. That's because the construction of the shoulder prevents the arm raising above 90 degrees. But Arios can hold its rifle very well. Nice and snug in the hand for waving about in all kinds of poses. Any pose that doesn't require pointing it all up, that is. I guess that's what elbows are for. The two beam sabers are all the entire set comes with. To be honest, I can't remember if either machine in the show was depicted carrying two beam sabers at once, but you sure won't be doing it with this set. When not using the beam sabers, they can conveniently store on... Okay, I've got an idea. Hey, Soma! Here, put these in your purse, or whatever you call those things. The Gun Archer was not exactly looked on favorably in RAC's review, despite his best efforts. But I'm really happy to say that this version doesn't seem to have quite the same degree of issues. What? No, of course not. Look, there's no Arios in it, and Gun Archer is facing the opposite direction. The Gun Archer's containers do open, with some difficulty. As RAC noted, they are limited in what they can actually carry. Those saber grips would probably work, but in mobile suit mode they'd end up falling straight through first, so it's kind of back to useless. Gun Archer only has the one pair of hands that must serve as fists and gripping hands. Way to cheap out, Bandai. The worst part is that the hands are so small and dainty that the saber grip that the solo Gun Archer would have come with barely even fits. Cut that out! Anyway, it's just as well. Running a beam saber would eat up the magic particles and force Gun Archer to dock with Arios to charge back up. Really, this arrangement sounds like a good idea to anybody? The other weapons are a good fit in Gun Archer's hands. Its rifles are put together a little bit weird, but maybe it was some sort of compromise for engineering the transformation? Still, they work out to be solid in the hands and can hold out for as wide a range of posing as the figure will support. The fighter, or mobile armor, or whatever this mode is properly called, is... well, stable isn't the first word that comes to mind. While it's not a problem in the mobile suit mode, a slightly loose waist joint leads the mobile armor mode to sag in the middle. The containers hold position entirely by friction on the hinges, which could cause problems for the further stability of this mode. The waist sag can be worked around by careful placement of the hands, but if the containers start to droop, I'm not sure what you can do about it. Unfortunately, from any angle other than the side, you can see the mobile suit parts, and how generally full of open spaces the mobile armor mode is. It tends to ruin the illusion of a vehicle and bring you crashing back to the reality of a scrunched up mobile suit. Now, for combining Arios and the gun archer, a special adapter is included. Snapping over Arios' feet and plugging in the upper body of the gun archer, it makes for a fairly secure connection between the two toys. Sadly, the combination still maintains the particular problems of both toys, so certain areas of stability still remain troublesome. Another problem I have with the design is the containers seem to want to be occupying the same physical space as the tail wings on Arios, leaving you to have to tilt the containers upward and pretty much wreck the lines of the combined vehicle. For issues of stability, a Damashii stage can help, since you end up with some flexibility in where the figures are being supported and at what relative heights. In any case, you will require some sort of stand to display this form, especially in the case of Gun Archer's little leg winglets. Get Ride! The main difference between releases is a slight desaturation of the colors in the box set version. All the molding, paint operations, and total accessory loadout are identical between releases. I suspect the tolerance of the parts is slightly improved in Gun Archer's case as a result of the different colored plastics used, but I've had a much worse experience with Arios than RAC did, so I think overall I traded one bad toy for a different one. I kind of like this version of Gun Archer better anyway because its red is just pink enough to remind me of Masked Rider Decade, but overall I think this is a matter just for the completionists. Neither figure is at all outstanding, and there are much better representatives of Robot Damashii even among the early figures. If you're set on getting both of these figures and aren't absolutely fixed on getting TV colors, this might turn out to be a cheaper way to go, and maybe even get you a little better quality Gun Archer. But I'd hate for someone to pick this as a casual purchase to sample the line. I'm going to rate this whole set as good on the FigureReviews.com rating scale. For more information on how we rate our toys, please visit our ratings explanation page on FigureReviews.com. Be sure to check out our site for a full range of reviews and high-quality photo galleries, as well as an index of our growing collection of video reviews. This has been a FigureReviews.com video review. Thanks again for joining us.